Hi there, Ashley here with We Make Systems Sexy. I am excited to talk to y'all today about one of my actual favorite features that we utilize within ClickUp on a daily basis, and that is the relationships feature. So if you have not started using the relationships feature, we're going to talk about how you can utilize it today, how to activate it in your ClickUp workspace if you don't have it, and then just a few kind of scenarios. And if you are part of our newsletter, we're actually going to do kind of a step by step to show you that part coming up soon. So be sure to join our newsletter if you are not already on there. So basically, ClickUp relationships are a way to link tasks to one another, to link tasks to a document, to create dependencies, and so on. So it's not just making a double-ended hyperlink, but it's really relating information in a way that's easy to find and easy to utilize. The first thing that you're going to need to do is you need to go into your workspace down to the bottom left where the workspace avatars are. Click on that in your settings and find the Click apps, and then search for relationships to make sure that relationships is toggled on. So if you haven't been seeing relationships anywhere and you're like, Ashley, what are you talking about? That's where you actually go to toggle it on. Once you have your relationships toggled on, go into a test task, create a test task, for example, and open up a task. And when you're in there, you will see that you have your description, you have the to-do, you have a place for checklist, and then below there, you will see relationships. There's a little drop down that shows where you can add relationships, and you'll see that the different kinds are task, dependency, doc, and then it says create relationship. So for example, if I want to link a task to another specific task, we do this often. We also use ClickUp as our general information repository so that we have everything kind of at our fingertips for us and our team members. Nobody has to go searching outside of ClickUp for basic information. So for example, I have a resources folder where my branding information is. And I have a task that lists out my colors, my hex codes for my brand. I have another one that lists out my fonts. I have another one that has my favorite headshot, and so on. So say, for example, that the task was for said team member to create a graphic, and I give whatever I want in the description. And then all I would have to do is go down to relationships and link my colors with my hex codes, my fonts, the image I wanted them to use, my preferred headshot, whatever. And I would say, see relationships for everything that you need. Bam, I can add separate multiple relationships into one task so they have everything that they need. You can also create dependencies, which is really cool because sometimes in a production or delivery of client services, we have all these different steps, and some of them might be assigned to different team members. So team member X needs to know what team member Y is doing, and maybe their tasks actually depend on each other. One is waiting on the other, one is blocking the other, and you can set those dependencies here. That's really important if you don't need or want somebody to move ahead without something else happening first. We also utilize the doc relationship very often, especially in our content production. So for, let's see, graphics or static posts, we might have kind of a content doc with all of our ideas there. We can relate them back and forth. For our blog post, we might actually write the blog post within a document and relate it to the task for approval. All those different steps that we can do. And we have it where the document is right here at our fingertips. So if it's assigned to me to approve the blog post, I don't have to go search for where the document is. It's right there within the relationship, and it's right here within ClickUp. It's not going to be loading me to some different location where for some reason I didn't have permissions to open that document, which starts opening a whole different can of worms. The last thing that you're going to see is to be able to create a relationship. This is really cool. Because let's see, it's going to actually add this as like a custom field so that it's going to make it where you can create relationships for all of the tasks within that list. You can choose to relate it to any task in the workspace or task from a specific list, and you can choose to create roll-up fields. So You can choose any of the first two, but there's also this checkbox for the roll-up fields, which also means that if that task has a custom field, you can choose from those custom fields to include that information right there where the relationships are, to give you a bit more of information at a glance about that relationship and that task or document or whatever that's linked. So that's the really cool thing about the roll-up fields and creating relationships. A few of the ways that we use them, I could go on and on about different ways that we utilize the relationships. So I would say think outside the box. Feel free, as always, to ask us questions. And of course, these relationships are something that we include in our ClickUp in a Day VIP day. So if you are thinking, I really want to get ClickUp set up, there are so many features, it is so robust, I want to utilize it to the best, but I have no idea how to make this happen on my own. That's what we're here for. And that's what we're always excited to do. We love talking all things ClickUp. We love helping people to get their ClickUp set up in a way that truly works for them and utilizes all of these unique features. So, as always, we're happy to talk about how this service can work for you and what you can do with ClickUp. Visit the link in our bio or our website, wemakesystemsexy.com. Pretty simple, for more information on how you can work together with us to get your ClickUp set up and optimized. All right, thanks. See you next time. Bye.